See, we do that with this. Well, we continue with the coverage of the ANC's policy conference. The final day today, day 6, President Jacob Zuma, as we've been saying, will be giving an overview of some of the resolutions that have been taken. Some of those resolutions, of course, will be debated amongst the ANC's branches. And then finally going to the elective conference, where some of them will be ratified or some of them might be even overturned or even bolstered further. And right now I'm joined by the subcommittee chairperson on peace and stability. And David Mahlobo, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Just a quick one, and I guess because of the time that we have, we need to delve into these issues very quickly. On the issue of the prisoner exchange program, how exactly will that work? And was there a discussion around, for instance, in South Africa, we have our minimum standards when it comes to the human rights of prisoners. And when you have a foreign national who is arrested in South Africa, yet the country that he comes from doesn't meet the minimum requirements, human rights requirements, that is on par to our human rights minimum standards.
No, thank you very much, Adrian, and greetings to all the viewers at home. Let's just make a correction. I'm a member of the subcommittee. The chair is Comrade Nosi Viewer.
My apologies.
No, we look at the issues when we're doing a presentation to the plenary, which the plenary, in principle, they are supporting our recommendation. The people that are actually serving for serious crimes, like your murder, your robberies and so forth, we want them to actually finish their sentences here. But there are those that are serving other petty crimes that various countries have the capacity to be able to handle that, rather than to put more pressure in terms of our fiscals. And remember, our correctional facilities, they are very overcrowded. And there are international agreements that you will normally sign with various countries around prisoner exchange. Even around the issues when you are looking for suspects, you could be in a position that using those international agreements be able to transfer them. That's what we are actually saying, because rather than actually keeping people that are here, we are spending a lot of money for a petty crime that these people can be integrated back into their own societies. And then our view is that let's create that particular policy. Let's also be in a position to start to engage with the countries, especially most of those countries in our own continent.
But in terms of the minimum standards, because I think that might be a problem. If a country like Zimbabwe, for instance, the prisoner population, for instance, there, and the standards of the prisons there don't meet the requirements of South Africa's minimum standards in terms of the constitution as well, don't you foresee a problem with regards to that?
Well, our South African standards are not global standards.
Yeah.
They are not the standard for those particular countries who have a responsibility to respect their sovereignty. How they run their own countries, the kind of institution and democracy they will have served. But when it comes to issues of human rights and other issues, the position of the ANC is well known, how we deal with those particular issues. But as we are saying, it's not all the prisoners that we say they must be able to be sent home. We are speaking about the prisoners that are serving a longer period. On average, like we're actually reporting to the plenary yesterday, we are looking at 10.6 years and above. Those are most of the serious crimes that are there in your Schedule 5 or Schedule 6. But for small crimes, like someone doing stealing of bread or doing certain other petty crimes, we're saying send them to their home countries with a clear understanding that they themselves within those conditions of those particular countries in terms of their own norms and standards.
In terms of the peace and stability document, and this wasn't mentioned during the press briefing, is the issue around xenophobia, and it's dealt with in the peace and stability document instead of being an issue that's dealt with at maybe through the social transformation cluster or the social transformation subcommittee. Was there any backlash from the delegates here that this should rather be an issue that's dealt with by the social transformation subcommittee instead of being dealt with as if it is a criminal or security issue?
Well, we should just note that when we discuss these issues, they are cross-cutting.
Yeah.
Remember, when you are dealing with issues of security, they have to deal with issues of economy. They have to actually to deal with issues of social transformation and so forth, because there's always an element. It's not about locality, but in our own discussion, when we discuss the matter, we discuss within the context of the role of peace and stability, more importantly around the issues of management of migration. Because if migration is not managed well, and the country has been having an outcry to say, you know what, there is a lot of influx of migrants in our country. How do you document them? Those who are coming for asylum seekers, how do you handle that particular matter with the relevant legislation? But there are those who are coming into South Africa because of economic opportunities, and we're starting to say, address the question to say, if it's about economic migrants, they should be they should be high-end skilled ones that will actually stimulate our economy. But more importantly, those people who are doing investment. But there are those that we think as a country we have a duty looking at our skill space, low skills sectors of our economy. These are actually the aspects of the economy that we say, let's protect them, so that you don't have these issues where there is violence against people that are non-nationals, that we have referred to as xenophobia.
Last one, the tension, you mentioned, you described it as there is tension between the three arms of the state, and particularly, I guess, it is the judiciary that seems to be on the other side of this tension that is currently happening. How do you then fix that?
Well, there will always be an inherent tensions in terms of the three arms. The inherent tensions must not actually be poisonous. It must be healthy. There should be a regular engagement and the rules of engagement, so that you don't have these aspects where one arm of the state thinks you create an impression is more superior than the others. But at the very same time, the other arms of the state, they must be more effective in terms of running their own issues, so that you don't actually have an encroachment or an overreach. But at the very same time, we also discuss the transformation of the judiciary itself. All our systems and institutions, they have strengths and weaknesses. That's the spirit in which we have discussed these particular issues, without trying to ascribe or finger point that this one is actually behaving in this particular way or not.
Minister Mahlobo, thank you so much for your time. Well, he clarified and said that he is not Minister Mahlobo here. He is an ANC NEC member, as well a member of the ANC's Subcommittee on Peace and Stability. A whole host of issues that were raised yesterday, but of course, because of the limited time that we have here, we can't delve into some of those issues, including the intelligence capacity of the country. For now, let's go to a quick ad break.